Hi guys, it's me, Yorkshire Teas. Today, hopefully we've got an informative video. This should be a little bit different. It's not really a showcase or a care guide or anything like that. But I'm sort of limited by this quarantine business, so I thought that I'd make a nice video from home without any of my software. Today we're doing a video on why scorpions fluoresce. So basically, general photoluminescence in scorpions is a thing. Most, but not all scorpions do fluoresce. It's first reported in 1954, which is mostly for the sort of concept of, I think it was just done in a lab, and then someone realised that it would be much easier to collect specimens for studies with the use of something like this, which is essentially a black light using UV spectra. The substance that does fluoresce is concentrated in the outermost layer of the cuticle, which does provide a secondary interesting trait, as here I have the exuvia of a scorpion, and as you can see somewhat, it does still fluoresce. The colour that the exuvia does fluoresce is roughly green, but obviously it's somewhat distorted by the actual blue nature and violet of the spectra of UV light that are used to sort of make them glow. So usually it's described as a cyan sort of green colour, but with hints of purple, not to sound too much like a painter and decorator. The substance is beta-carboline and 4-methyl-7-hydrocoumarin, which you don't need to know. That's just a little bit of general information. I am a biologist, so, you know, I do need to know those things, but, you know, just a bit of general info. It's suggested that it's a metabolic byproduct, which would essentially mean that it's produced with something else, something more useful, a protein that's used perhaps in hardening the exoskeleton or some other trait such as that. But it could also be a vestigial trait from a diurnal scorpion in the distant past, which would be interesting, something to, you know, to explore. And also it could be related to light perception. Scorpion eyes are mainly sensitive to green light, and this is in complete contrast the colour that the actual cuticle fluoresces, and as such that could mean that it's absorbing the other spectra of light that are could be isolated by UV. Therefore, this could primarily mean that the scorpions are using their entire body as a mechanism through which to view the environment. Not quite view, but being aware of the presence of these other colours that aren't being perceived by the scorpion's eyes, which, contrary to popular belief, are actually fairly good. They're not mammalian or avian level of good, but they're actually not too bad as far as other organisms go. So the second half of this video should be interesting because I have got two of my scorpions here. I've isolated them. They are in spiderling tubes, and we're going to just shine a bit of fluorescent light on them as a demonstration somewhat. I've also, I will re-demonstrate that in the dark, but you know, this could go one of two ways. You could not see anything, but hopefully you will. Right, so this first one, I've got a little bit of a light below just so I can see what I'm doing. This is a Scorpio maurus, the Israeli gold scorpion, and he is not happy, but you can see him perfectly fluoresce there. So if I just, there, that's a good angle. So you can see his body fluorescing this cyan sort of interesting colour, which is really, really unique, given that the other scorpion I'm going to be using is a Heterometrus spinifer, which is right here and is actually stationary, which is nice. So it is up close there. We'll try and yeah, that one doesn't fluoresce as brightly, sadly. But there you go. So you can sort of see that there. You can see that fascinating sort of display. If my and there we go, there it is from the underneath. And you can see that that really, really vivid cyan colour. And I will just do the molt one more time. So there it is. And this is interesting because I'll put the light back on now, by the way. Basically, these malts actually, sorry, that was interesting going from dark to light straight away. Basically, the malts maintain the presence of these two beta-carboline and 4-methyl-7-hydrocoumarin, which is interesting, as you would expect that to not be the case. You would expect them to fade away. I mean, you wouldn't, but that's what I would have thought. And but no, they remain in the organism, which is quite cool. And also, freshly malted scorpions do not exhibit that, which means that these substances are not immediately in the cuticle upon a new molt and remain in the exuvia. Even that molt was from maybe 6 weeks ago, so you know, quite a long time, and it's quite interesting. But the bottom line is that despite the fact that I've sort of proposed a few scenarios, no one really knows why they fluoresce, because it doesn't seem to make sense for an animal that primarily hunts and exists at night. So yeah, the things I've suggested are speculation. Now, I did take them from scientific papers, from the Journal of Animal Behaviour, which is interesting. But yeah, don't take what I've said as law, because the whole purpose of science is for things to keep turning over. So hopefully more information will come to light. No pun intended. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.